comprehension skills aren't very well.
Well, we'll try to straighten these out for you. So we're going to solve a word problem with two unknowns, which means we're going to have two variables. Whatever that first guy's name is, where'd they come up with these names? Hulan? Hulan's age is 3 times Thomas's age. I like Thomas much better. I can read that.
Probably Tomas.
Tomas. The sum of their ages is 44. What is Thomas's age? So, two different unknowns. Or two guys. I'm just going to assume that that first one's a guy anyway. And I haven't heard of too many girls named Thomas, but these days you never know.
Maybe it's supposed to be Julian.
Maybe.
Because the J is right behind that next to the A.
Is he a Spanish guy?
Oh,
We
but
call
I
him
thought we just concluded that he was Spanish.
Julian and Tomas.
Tomas.
So, when you're reading this first sentence, whomever or whatever is mentioned first is the variable that's going to be set equal to something else, because they're talking about Julian. So, H is, H equals 3 times Tomas. So I would write that as
44? I'm just guessing.
3 times Thomas's age. How do I show?
H3 or 3H?
H equals 3
divided by minus
Times?
what?
44.
44?
We're not to that sentence yet.
3 times T.
T.
T3.
Oh.
So not T3, but how about 3T? This person's
okay.
age is 3 times Thomas's age. So H equals, H is 3 T's.
T.
Now when we have two variables, we have to write two equations. We only have one equation there, so we have to write a second equation. Thus, the second sentence. The sum of their ages is 44. Sum means we're going to add. So we're going to add those two people's ages. So I'm going to say H plus T equals 44, right? Sum of the two ages. So we're going to call this, or solve this, by doing substitution. We know that the H is equal to 3 T's, so we're going to get rid of the H and put 3T in its spot. So that means our equation says 3T plus T equals 44. Well, 3T plus T, I can add those together. They're like terms, right?
4T.
Is 4T. So 4T equals 44. Well, we know how to solve that equation. What do we have to do to solve that?
Divide.
Divide, exactly. So if we divide by 4, T is equal to
11.
11. What is Thomas's age? We found T. Thomas was 11. 11. I don't know why she put age behind it. I would have put years old or something like that.
11.
Yep. Thomas is going to be 11.
Thomas is young.
Thomas isn't very old. The other guy's 3 times that. He'd be 33. He'd be older. Number 2 then. A total of 357 tickets were sold for the school play. They were either adult tickets or student tickets. So we know we're going to do two unknowns. I'm going to say that my A is my adult tickets and my S is my student tickets. Because I like to use variables that make sense to me instead of just using an X and a Y and then getting to the end and not knowing which one's X and which one's Y. So even though my S looks like a 5, I'm going to use it anyway. So if I look at that first sentence, it says in total of 357 tickets were sold for the school play. They were either adult tickets or student tickets. How can I write an equation that shows that?
357 equals A plus S.
Exactly. 357 tickets. Total was by taking the adult tickets plus the student tickets, and that's how I got that number. Now I have to write a second equation. the number of student tickets sold was 2 times the number of adult tickets sold. So which one was mentioned first?
2S.
S. That tells me I'm going to write S equals something.
Oh.
The number of student tickets, S, that's what I'm talking about. What's it equal to? 2 times A, or just 2A, right? 2 times the adult tickets. So now thinking about that previous problem where we solved by substitution, what variable should we replace in our first equation?
S.
The S, and what are we going to put in its spot?
2A.
2A. So we're going to cross off the S, we're going to put 2 A's in its spot, and then we're going to combine our like terms.
3A.
357 equals 3A, exactly. And in order to solve that, we're going to divide by 3. And I'm going to let you use your calculator to do that.
119. Right?
I don't know, I didn't divide it. Sounds good. 119. Christine, that what you got?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Now we did get A, that's our adult tickets. The question wants to know how many adult tickets, so that's got to be what we had, 119 adult tickets.
Okay, so when we write it on here, we write all of that.
Something like that. You probably don't have to write this down, you can if you
Yeah.
want, but that other part you probably have to write.
Okay.
So the third one, now we're going to deal with hamburgers and cheeseburgers. A local hamburger shop sold a combined total of 649 hamburgers and cheeseburgers on Friday. How do we show that as an equation?
649 equals H plus C.
Exactly. A total of 649 hamburgers and cheeseburgers. Now this one's a little trickier to write, but we did this the other day. There were 51 fewer cheeseburgers sold than hamburgers sold. The whole key is what one is mentioned first.
Cheeseburgers.
So I'm going to start my new equation with C
Minus.
equals something.
Equals H minus
C?
51.
H minus 51, right? 51 fewer than the hamburgers. Nope, because it doesn't say 51 fewer than twice the hamburgers. Oh, you mean when you substitute it in? Yes, I haven't done that yet.
Oh.
You're ahead of me.
Sorry.
You're way ahead of me. So, when you're doing this second sentence, whichever item is mentioned first, that's the one C equals. And then you write it in terms of the other variable. Now, she already substituted it in and combined her like terms and everything, but she said, oh, I got to put that in for the C, which is H minus 51 there, and when she combined her like terms then, she said, oh, I got an H plus another H, so I have 2H minus 51 equals 649. She's just way ahead of me. Now, in order to solve that, we're going to add the 51, which gives me 700 equals 2H, and when I divide by 2, $700 divided by 2 is
350.
350. So 350 is equal to H. How many hamburgers? That's what we're looking for, right? How many hamburgers? So noticed on all of these ones there was a sum involved, and then we wrote the other one and substituted it in, right? All of them had a plus in the one equation that we plugged into.